And now, more with Social Women with your hosts, Pat Cruz, Amy Diaz, and Bronwyn Dannenfelser.
But let's get to women, ladies, females. I think one of the things that we wanted to have you on here today was to really discuss the importance of what females are to the marketplace right now, and
Great.
you know the what value they bring to businesses as consumers.
As a group, they are an incredibly powerful purchasing unit, women as a whole. I do have some statistics to run through so that our listeners can kind of get a foothold about what we're talking about.
We love that.
Yes. 85% of all purchasing decisions are, in fact, made by women. And here are some other stats that I think will be...
You're looking... Did you know that?
I didn't know that. And I was
Yeah.
just like, but what are the rest of the guys doing while we're making all the decisions?
Well, they think they're making decisions. They think they are.
I
The
see.
other
let them think they
50%
are.
is influenced by women.
Right. Yeah, and hi, Larry. Right, so 85% of those decisions are being made, and then the guys are doing their due diligence by helping us carry out the decision-making process. 39% of the top wealth holders in the United States are female.
Nice.
I want to be that.
Yeah, that's changing. That demographic is changing rapidly. We're seeing some real purchasing power in the female demographic.
What was it about 10 years ago? Do we know? Like, because if that's 39%, were we at 15 as women?
You know, that's a really good question, and I'll have to get back to you with the stats. But I would say that there's been an exponential growth in the last 10 years, definitely.
Go women. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Hey.
And so to tie it back to what you guys might be doing, a relevant statistic for you would be 94% of female head of households with income of greater than $75,000 are on the internet.
Really?
Yeah.
And
That
they're
is a
all
big
watching
number.
us on Ustream today.
WeSpeakWomen.com, ladies. Facebook/socialwomen.
Yeah.
And here is the biggest statistic that everybody should be taking note of, whether you're a consumer or a small business or a marketing group. 92% of female consumers will share info on the things they have purchased with friends and family. That includes internet sharing, blogging, social media, conversation, email, and your more traditional forms of communication as well. So that's, again, if you make a woman happy, you are going to get most of her friends and family to be there too.
But you just hit every part of our show. Blogging, conversation, internet. Yeah, we just hit it all.
Exactly.
Women to women.
Exactly.
That's us.
I think that's a good point, though. So if it's 92% that if you make her happy, that she'll tell all her friends,
Yeah.
it's also 92% that if you don't do a good job and
They
you
will
don't,
also tell
we
her.
will
Oh,
also tell our friends.
yes.
So what a way to bring customer service back up into the forefront of things, where sometimes it seems like it drops off and people don't care what a good job they do.
No.
Bless
Yeah,
you,
I
Amy.
think that's more.
Thank you.
I think it's definitely time for, for businesses. They can really make a mark here by targeting this demographic specifically, and we definitely want to help our clients do that.
So tell us, if businesses are not marketing to females, they should be. But what sets that apart? What would you do differently?
Well, I think there's a big difference between men and women. I'll play my little armchair psychologist here. Men need to know what, and women need to know why. You need to tell them why. Why are they making these purchasing decisions? Why are they choosing your product or service over another product or service? It's important for the female consumer to be able to connect emotionally to the brands that they're buying into. And I think for men, it's a matter of logistics and tactics and checklists and getting things done, and those are required elements for them. But for a woman, you can't just create a product, color it pink, and say it's for women. It's just not going to work out for you very well.
And what do, as female consumers, what do you target? What do you feel like they want to hear? What kind of questions are they asking?
It depends on the product or service itself, or the organization that they're trying to contribute to. It has to be an emotional connection. So it's more of a personal conversation, I think, between the marketers and the audience. I think that they really definitely want to be talked to intelligently. I think that the messaging needs to doesn't need to be dumbed down at all. I think that women are taking their position as purchasing powerhouses, and I think that companies need to start to interact with them accordingly. I've still heard some horror stories that I can't actually believe. I was just told, and I won't name names, but there is a retail store. A man and a woman went to purchase a large ticket item, and the salesman directed all eye contact, comments, and questions to the husband. And the wife said, "We need to go." And so that salesperson lost that sale. And that'll bring me to another very quick point, is I think that some of the disconnect for companies right now are to not bring into alignment their external and internal brand position. So they might outwardly facing tell consumers that they're women friendly, but they're not sharing that with their staff. They're not training their staff appropriately to sell their services. So things like that happen over and over, and companies are missing opportunities to sell to women and therefore losing sales.
Really? That's I love this stuff. This is my thing. I just love it.
Well, it's fascinating because the thing that gets me is that, we talk about marketing to women versus men. And I almost like to believe that it's not a one or the other, but what we've brought into it is a more comprehensive, or maybe that woman's emotional, and I'm putting emotional in quotes here because I don't like that word. I think sometimes people call women emotional and it's considered derogatory.
Mm-hmm. Can we say that we think with our hearts sometimes? Or our
Well,
gut?
I think that maybe the better thing is the why component.
Mm-hmm.
You need to tell me why I need to do it, and I think in those terms, it connects on a different level than the more tangible approach to marketing.
Than just the checklist bullet point
exactly,
of it's got this, and this. Okay, I'll take it. It's on sale.
Exactly.
Right.
So if that's the case, can men create marketing campaigns aimed at women consumers or vice versa?
Yeah.
Can women do it for men and it be effective?
I am definitely not gender centric by any stretch. I think that a good marketer can create these campaigns. But they need to be aware of their audience. And I think any good brand strategist or any good marketing person understands that the first piece of the puzzle is to really understand your market. So, of course, if you have a male marketing director or creative director and they really do understand who they're selling to, they can absolutely create good campaigns. Another little fun statistic is that only 3% of creative directors in the United States are female.
I want to know, where do women look for information? Where do they go when they are looking to buy something?
Well, I think, and I'd have to do a little bit more research to get the facts to back this up, but experience would tell me that there are traditional means of gathering information, like magazines and other printed material that, we use every day. And also, the statistic is 94% of women are accessing the internet for information. But that can take a lot of different forms. They could be accessing Facebook to share, gather information, ask questions, and have that conversation. They could also be blogging themselves and have quite the following. So, if they go out and buy a product or a service and it's not up to muster, there could be a lot of bandwidth about the negative interaction. There's also a lot of bandwidth on the positive interaction. So it definitely needs to be tracked.
Yeah.
And there's also other digital ways of gathering information, like review sites and just basically getting like consumer reports and information like that. So.
It's curious, like intuitively, I would think that women search for information from other women. So essentially, as you were saying, if 92% of us are going to our friends to say, what was your experience? What was that? That's one of the things we discussed here. Like, for instance, do we know any women in the car industry that we could talk to that would make us feel more comfortable going into a showroom, because it can be intimidating.
It's
Yeah,
intimidating.
that's a great point.
Yeah, so it is. It sounds like women listen to each other, engage our, we'll read reviews, but that's it. We're taking a word of mouth.
Right. And I think it is basic conversation. I just think that the places that those conversations are happening, with the advent of Facebook and Twitter, it's happening so much faster. The conversations are kind of furious out there, and people are exchanging information at a rate that I don't think most companies are ready for or comfortable with. And it's interesting that you brought up car dealerships. The statistic on car purchasing is that women make 50% of the car purchasing decision and influence 80% of decisions on the whole. So I think car dealerships especially
Pay attention.
should be listening. Should
Pay
be listening.
attention.
And yeah, it would be really amazing to hear from a female car salesperson. It would be really incredible.
I think that's awesome. And Pat, I know you're going to say something, but I'm going to say that I hope a lot of people start listening to us, because we are about to bring in people that are going to give us advice, other women that we know, that we trust, to give us advice on all sorts of different topics and where to go and our purchasing power.
And you know where to reach us.
Right here on Social Women.
Social Women. You can visit www.wespeakwomen.com, and you can find us on Facebook and Twitter from our webpage.
You know, I have another question, too, which you'll probably pick up on, because I think each of us separately, personal branding seems to be a big deal right now.
Yes, very much
you know,
so.
Really. My base of followers, it's all about personal branding on Facebook, Twitter, internet. Any suggestions for people that are trying to brand themselves as bloggers or, you know?
I think that I might have a fairly significant suggestion, and that is be genuine. I think that's the biggest suggestion that I could get. I think your personal brand comes out of who you are, and if your external messages are not aligned with your internal constitution, you're going to have a problem, you know, creating and maintaining your own personal brand. So I would say be honest to who you are and be genuine, and I think that everything else will kind of fall out of that.
Erika, thank you so very much for joining us.